Hi, I'm Tzu-hsuan Chen, a professor at National Taiwan Sport University. I'm here to talk to you about Taiwan's baseball. Are you ready for it? Let's do it! If you like this topic, please like, comment, and subscribe to TaiwanPlus Docs. Yeah, coming in. Of course, before the tournament even started, nobody sees this team winning the champions. As you can see on this graph, this is our first ever championship for the adult teams. The recruitment of players did not go so well. Some of our best baseball players chose to recover from the injury or rest during the off-season. That's why we have this kind of underdog mentality coming into the tournament. Based on the prediction before the tournament, probably only Australia was the poorer, quote-unquote, poorer team than us. So that makes this success and this champion so meaningful. Mark the first ever major champion in the baseball, which is our national pastime. Yeah, it's kind of like a habit. We always suffer this kind of PTSD after major tournaments. That's why this victory is really a surprise, and nobody saw it coming. And because nobody saw it coming, it's so sweet. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Did we do anything different? Not really. If you consider Japan, Korea, and the US, actually, we copied their model of success. On the field, you can see that not just the players, they play at their best, but also the whole managers and coaching staff. They apply the so-called advanced technology in scouting. And also we have some nutritionists and also psychologists also went to Tokyo Dome with the team. So this is a whole team effort instead of just players. This is probably the first time that we use the whole team efforts trying to help the team, because baseball, even though it's a national pastime in Taiwan, we are still behind those so-called advanced baseball countries like US, Japan, and Korea. Everybody is so pumped up after this victory. So everybody knows that what it can achieve if we input enough resources. So I think this is really a good start for us. Yeah, obviously, because Premier 12 was organized by WBSC instead of Major League Baseball. And Major League Baseball, they are widely considered the top level league in the world. WBSC, they are the leading federations in world baseball. So for those players who are on the 40-man roster, Shohei Ohtani or Imanaga or Yamamoto, they cannot compete in the Premier 12 tournament. But still, that's a top-tier international tournament. We may say that the second best players, they are still composed the national teams from all over the world. So I think this is still a very tough competition. Okay, not so fast, my friend. Because in WBC, every major league player is eligible to compete in this tournament. So I think definitely Korea will be stronger. They got a few major league ready or current major leaguers on their roster. That's not to mention Japan, right? If we count the number of how many Taiwanese players in the Major League Baseball, currently we got none. If you want to beat them, it would be a tougher task. Of course, we can recruit some current minor leaguers. As you can see, Yumin Lin, who pitched fantastically in the Premier 12, probably our best pitcher. And also we got some youngsters currently playing in the minor league baseball. I think it will still be a fierce competition between Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. Did you know that at one point, Taiwan's baseball league was basically just 4 teams playing an awkward double date every week? Now there are 6 teams, so things are slightly less like a family reunion and way more like an actual league. Did you know how many champions did we win at the Little League World Series in Williamsport? The answer is 17. Yeah, because people at the time in the 70s, People did not know that much about the nature of the Little League World Series. They still think it as a national pride, and it's very glorious for us to be called global champions. They focus so much on the early success, and they overwork their baseball players. And some of their young prospects, actually, they got hurt. For those pitchers, especially pitchers, they probably work too much on their curveballs and sliders instead of develop their muscle strengths. That's not a very healthy attitude, to be honest. There are a bunch of 12-year-old kids. They are not supposed to shoulder this kind of responsibility. So I think that's good because we did not win Little League World Champion since 1996. That doesn't mean that our kids play poor baseball. It's just that we did not force them. We developed these players instead of rushing them into like proxy warriors for the nation. Oh yeah. I was a baseball fan from the get-go. I went to many CPBL games. And even when I was preparing for the entrance exam for college, I sometimes skip class to go to the games. Early 90s is really a key period of time in my life. As you can see that here, history of CPBL did not go smoothly in the past, especially in the late 1990s and early 2000s. In the late 1990s, there's a series of game throwing scandals, not just one, but maybe like 5 or 6. It happened every 2 or 3 years. Players got the attention from the gangsters. They approached these players to ask them to throw games. Just to throw a game, earn that pretty much probably their annual salary. That's why they ran the risk of being caught. That hurts. You can see there's a slump so badly from this chart. The attendance was really bad, as low as like 1,500 per game. We would call it a dark age of the CPBL. 2010s, there's a huge growth. And it's understandable because during the time, the league and the government, they focus so much on clearing the game. There's no more game throwing scandals in the past decade or so. That's very important for fans to regain their faith into the game. And at that time, in the early 2010s, there's a club called the New Bears. They introduced Korean style of cheerleaders into Taiwan. I think that's a turning point of this whole cheerleading culture. Teams are really trying very hard to provide different kind of experience. For example, there are different theme nights because attendance and the TV ratings and all the new forms of broadcasting generated more revenue for the clubs. They got paid better. And for example, Yu Chen, our most established player in the league, who earned the salary of about 800,000, which is about the same as the minimum wage for major leaguers. And as you can see, the bottom here, there's a brand new Taipei Dome open in actually late 2023. Provide a comfortable venue for fans to enjoy. I think that's a great start to be more successful in our professional baseball. Yeah, I agree. And you are not alone. Many fans in Taiwan, they not just only enjoy baseball on the field, but also the cheerleaders. In the early stage of the Taiwanese professional baseball, fans organize their own fan groups. Right now, it's the teams who organize the cheerleaders. So fans had to learn how to chant and cheer for certain players. But I am not one of them. Why? Because I don't like the cheerleading culture. I think still very sexist. Being the professor at National Taiwan Sport University, I would see everybody, including the girls or women, playing sport rather than just being the cheerleaders. I know I'm one of the minority, but I think there's a room to improve. For example, why don't we have more people being the cheerleaders instead of just this young, sexy, and those girls with single aesthetic standards of their bodies? I would think it'd be more open and to everybody. Did you know how many baseball stadiums in Taiwan are equipped to host competitive events? And of those, how many meet CPBL standards? Well, there are about 20 baseball stadiums around the island meet the standard of CPBL games. And among them, of course, Taipei Dome is the crown jewel of them all. Did you know Taiwan's highest paid baseball player, Yu Chen, makes about the same as a major league's minimum salary? Did you know that the record-setting 50-50 baseball by Shohei Ohtani is the most expensive baseball ever? It's worth $4.4 million US. I'm not sure if they are really going to change it to the championship team of the Premier 12. Maybe that's President Lai just caught in the moment. But nonetheless, baseball is the national pastime. That's why you can see it on the 500 NT bill. Baseball has become a symbol of our national pride in international stage. And you can trace it back to early 1970s. When a bunch of 12-year-old kids play in Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. We won world champion 1 year after 1 year. That becomes a symbol and also become a tool for the government at that time to promote baseball as our national game. They input almost every potential resource into the sport. They put these players from one school to another so they can keep this team stronger and together for quite a long time. That's why we dominate the youth level of baseball. And then when these players getting older, they grow up in the 80s. That marked another milestone, 1984 in the Los Angeles Olympics. We won the bronze medal. Even though it's just an exhibition game, in the adult level, we can be very competitive, even be the third place in the world. So after the 1990s, the professional baseball becomes so mature and developed, even though there's speed bumps along the way, and that become a part of our everyday life. As you can see, this kind of connection between baseball and nationalism actually started in 1970s and extended from there until now. So that's why it's called 国球 or national pastime or national sport here in Taiwan. Yeah, of course. Actually, Taiwan learned baseball from Japanese. Taiwan was Japan's colony for 50 years, from 1895 to 1945. So as you can see that in 1906, Taiwan's first high school baseball team was established. Baseball at that time was still played by all Japanese students in the high school. But in 1931, they marked a historic milestone. Team Kano won the second place in the renowned Koshien tournament. The result itself, of course, was remarkable. Another significant meaning is that the team was composed of Japanese, Taiwanese, Han people, and also the indigenous people on the island. Baseball is not only popular among their colonizers, namely Japanese, but also has become very popular among the residents on the island. But to say that Japan being the sole influencer on this, I think that might be only partly true. With all the imported players coming from all different countries, I think right now Taiwanese baseball culture is a blend of a very colorful style of baseball, not just a Japanese style. Baseball is a very unique sport. It started from home and ended at home as well. So for us to learn baseball from Japan and beat them in the championship game of the Premier 12 is very poetic. That's the beauty of the game, and that's the beauty of the baseball. God bless Taiwan. Yeah. Unlike every other team in the tournament, the country's name is on the front of the jersey, but with only exception is Taiwan. So when Tzu-hsuan Chen, our team captain, hit that home run, and he explained that even though we cannot show the name Taiwan to the world, but everybody knows that's where the name should be. Because of the tough situation we are in international diplomacy, we can only, adjust ourselves and be flexible sometimes in the international stage. And that's why this gesture means so much for not just baseball fans, but every citizen in Taiwan. We suffer many, many heartbreaking losses in the past few decades in international competitions. Yet we came back and finally win the Premier 12 Global Champions. That's a very good symbol for our resilience. If you like this topic, please like, comment, and subscribe to TaiwanPlus Docs.